Hey everyone, welcome to the deep dive. Today we are going to take a deep dive into resilience.
Oh, resilience.
Yeah, that amazing ability to bounce back, from all those challenges life throws at us.
To not just survive, but to thrive, you know?
Exactly, and emerge even stronger on the other side.
Yes, and I think, a lot of people think they understand resilience, but it's actually often misunderstood.
Right. It's not
Yeah.
about being, some kind of superhero who never feels pain.
Exactly, or never struggles, or like well, you're just this, impenetrable force.
Right.
Yeah, it's not about being unbreakable.
Right.
It's more like, think of it as a seasoned sailor, navigating a stormy sea.
Okay.
You're going to encounter rough waters. You might even get knocked down a few times,
Right.
but you have the skills and the know-how to adjust your sails, ride the waves, and ultimately reach your destination.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Yeah,
It's about weathering the storm, not avoiding it altogether.
precisely. And, this brings us to a really crucial point. Resilience isn't something you're just born with.
Right.
It's a set of skills and habits that you can build and strengthen over time.
So it's like a muscle that gets stronger
Yeah,
with each challenge we overcome.
you got it. You got it. Now, before we go any further, I think it's really important to clear up some common misconceptions about resilience.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that, resilient people never experience negative emotions?
Oh, absolutely. It's like
Yeah.
that whole, good vibes only mentality,
Right.
as if feeling sadness or anger somehow makes you weak.
Right. And that's just not true.
Yeah.
Resilient people, they actually acknowledge their emotions fully. They allow themselves to feel the pain, the disappointment, the grief, but they don't let those feelings consume them.
Okay.
They use those emotions as fuel to learn, grow, and ultimately move forward.
So it's not about suppressing our emotions,
Yeah.
but rather about processing them in a healthy way.
Exactly. It's about developing what we call emotional regulation, the ability to manage and respond to our feelings in a constructive way.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, another myth I hear a lot is that you have to be, super tough and independent to be resilient.
The lone wolf myth.
Right.
It's this idea that resilient people just grit their teeth and go it alone.
Right.
But in reality, strong social connections are one of the most powerful predictors of resilience.
It's interesting because our society often praises individual achievement and self-reliance.
Yeah,
But it sounds like leaning on others is actually a sign of strength,
absolutely.
not weakness.
Having a support system, whether it's family, friends, mentors, or even a therapist,
Mm.
allows you to share your burdens,
Right.
gain different perspectives, and receive encouragement when you need it most.
It's like having a safety net to catch you when you fall and someone to help you back up again.
Precisely. Now,
Yeah.
I think it's important to acknowledge that every individual's journey with resilience is unique.
Right. We all face different challenges
We do.
and have different resources available to us.
Exactly. However, there are some fundamental principles and practices that can help anyone build resilience, regardless of their background or current circumstances.
Okay.
Um,
And we're going to dive into those practical steps
Yeah.
very soon. But before we do, I just want to say, if you're finding this deep dive into resilience helpful so far, and you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this with your friends.
And if you're listening on Instagram, Spotify, or TikTok, be sure to follow for more content like this. We are always exploring ways to help you unlock your full potential.
Now, getting back to our discussion,
Yes.
can we start unpacking these principles and practices that can help us all build resilience?
Absolutely. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is gratitude.
Oh, gratitude.
Yeah.
How does
Yeah.
being grateful help you when things are tough?
Well, you see, gratitude shifts your focus.
Okay.
Instead of dwelling on what's wrong or what you're lacking,
Yeah.
you start noticing and appreciating the good things in your life,
Right.
even the small things.
So even in the midst of a difficult situation, there are still things to be grateful for.
Always. And that shift in perspective can be incredibly powerful.
Okay.
It allows you to see possibilities, find solutions, and maintain a sense of hope even when things feel challenging.
So it's not about denying the negative,
Yeah.
but rather about balancing it with a dose of positivity.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Research has shown that practicing gratitude can actually change your brain chemistry.
Wow.
It boosts levels of dopamine and serotonin,
Huh.
which are neurotransmitters associated with happiness and well-being.
So it's not just some fluffy feel-good concept.
Yeah.
There's actual science behind it.
Precisely. And the more you practice gratitude, the more you rewire your brain to naturally focus on the positive.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how can we incorporate more gratitude into our daily lives?
Well, there are many ways, and we are here to help you with a few simple techniques. One of the most effective is keeping a gratitude journal.
Oh,
Simply take a few minutes each day to write down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for.
that sounds easy enough. Do they have to be big things?
Not at all. In
That's
fact,
cool.
sometimes it's the simple things that bring the most joy.
Okay.
A warm cup of coffee in the morning, a beautiful sunset, a kind gesture from a stranger.
So it's about training our minds to appreciate those little moments of joy that we often take for granted.
Precisely, another powerful practice is expressing gratitude to others.
Okay.
Take the time to thank people who have made a positive impact on your life.
Hmm.
Write a heartfelt letter, send a thoughtful text, or simply tell them face-to-face how much you appreciate them.
You know, it's funny how we often hesitate to express gratitude,
Yeah,
yet it can have such a profound impact
it does.
on both the giver and the receiver.
Absolutely. Expressing gratitude strengthens your relationships. It fosters a sense of connection
Right.
and reminds you that you're not alone in this journey.
Okay, so we've got gratitude journaling.
Yes.
And expressing gratitude to others.
Yeah.
Any other tips for cultivating gratitude?
Absolutely. Try incorporating gratitude into your daily routine. You could start each morning by listing 3 things you're grateful for, or end each day by reflecting on the good things that happened. You can even practice gratitude while you're doing mundane tasks like washing dishes or commuting to work.
So it's about weaving gratitude into the fabric of our lives, making it a habit rather than a one-time event.
Exactly. And the more you practice, the more natural it will become.
Yeah.
You'll start to notice a shift in your perspective, a greater sense of contentment, and a stronger ability to cope with challenges.
This is all really insightful, but I'm curious.
Yes.
Are there any other practical steps we can take to cultivate resilience?
You bet. Another essential ingredient is building a strong support system. Let's talk about that next.
So we've talked about the power of gratitude in boosting resilience.
Yes.
Now, what about building a strong support system? What does that look like in practice?
Well, think of it this way. You're on a challenging hike, and you come to a particularly steep section of the trail. Having a group of supportive friends with you can make all the difference.
Right.
They can offer words of encouragement, help you carry your load, and celebrate with you when you reach the summit.
It's like having your own personal cheering squad reminding you that you're not alone in the climb.
Exactly. And just like on that hike, life throws unexpected obstacles our way.
Right.
Having a strong network of people we can turn to for support during those tough times can be invaluable.
So who are these people in our support system?
They can be anyone who brings positivity and strength to your life. Family members, close friends, mentors, colleagues, even members of a shared interest group or community.
So it's not just about having a lot of people around you,
Right.
but rather about having people who genuinely care about your well-being and are there for you when you need them.
Precisely. It's about quality over quantity, and it's important to remember that building a support system is a two-way street.
What do you mean by that?
Well, just as you receive support from others, you also offer your support in return. It's about nurturing those relationships, being there for each other through thick and thin.
So it's about reciprocity, about giving and receiving support.
Exactly. And that mutual support strengthens the bonds between you, creating a more resilient network that can weather life's storms. Now, here's something we often overlook.
What's that?
Sometimes our support system isn't just made up of people.
Really?
Think about it. Do you have any pets?
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Pets can provide an incredible source of comfort and emotional support, especially during difficult times.
Absolutely. Studies have shown that spending time with animals can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and even boost our mood.
Exactly. So don't underestimate the power of furry friends in your journey towards resilience.
Now, speaking of resilience-boosting strategies, what about embracing change? How does that tie into the whole picture?
This one is crucial. You see, change is inevitable.
Right.
It's a constant in life.
Yeah.
And often, our first instinct is to resist it, to cling to what's familiar and comfortable.
I know, I'm definitely guilty of that. Change can be scary, especially when we don't feel in control of it.
Absolutely. But here's the thing.
No.
Resisting change actually depletes our resilience.
Really?
It creates stress, anxiety, and a feeling of being stuck.
So how can we shift our mindset to embrace change instead of fearing it?
We'll start by acknowledging that change is a natural part of life.
Okay.
It's what allows us to grow, evolve, and discover new possibilities.
It's like that saying, the only constant is change.
Exactly. And instead of viewing change as a threat, try to see it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
An opportunity to learn something new, develop new skills, or even step outside of your comfort zone and experience something you never thought possible.
So it's about reframing our perspective, seeing change as a chance for growth rather than a disruption.
Precisely. Now, I know this is easier said than done.
Right.
Change can be challenging even when we know it's for the best. But here's a little trick.
I'm all ears.
Try approaching change with curiosity rather than fear. Instead of asking, what if this goes wrong, ask yourself, what if this turns out even better than I imagined?
I love that. It's about shifting our focus from potential negatives to potential positives.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to go through change alone. Lean on your support system, talk to people who have navigated similar changes, and seek guidance from mentors or professionals if needed.
It's like having a map and a compass to guide you through unfamiliar terrain.
You got it. Now let's move on to another essential aspect of building resilience.
Okay. What's next? Okay, so we've talked about gratitude support systems, embracing change.
Yes.
It's all starting to feel like a pretty solid foundation for resilience.
It is, but there are a couple more, key building blocks we need to add to the mix.
Okay, I'm ready. What's next?
Let's talk about the connection between your physical well-being
Okay.
and your ability to bounce back from challenges.
You mean like eating our vegetables and getting enough sleep, that kind of thing?
Exactly. You see, when we take care of our physical health, we're actually investing in our mental and emotional resilience as well.
So it's all connected.
Absolutely. Think about it when you're sleep deprived or running on junk food.
Right.
How do you feel?
Definitely not my best.
Yeah.
More irritable, less focused, and definitely less equipped to deal with any kind of stress.
Precisely on the flip side, when you prioritize things like nutritious food, regular exercise, and enough sleep,
Okay.
you give your body and mind the resources they need to handle challenges effectively.
So it's like fueling up for a marathon.
Yes,
We wouldn't expect to run 26 miles on an empty stomach.
exactly. And in the same way, we can't expect to navigate life's ups and downs if we're neglecting our physical needs.
Okay, this makes total sense.
Okay.
So alongside gratitude support systems and embracing change, we need to add taking care of our physical well-being to the resilience toolkit.
You got it. And speaking of tools, there's one more, essential element we need to discuss.
Okay, I'm all ears. What is it?
It's the practice of reflection and adaptation. Learning from our experiences, both the successes and the setbacks, is crucial for building resilience.
So it's not enough to just go through challenges.
Right.
We need to actually take the time to process them and extract valuable lessons.
You nailed it. Think back to a time when you faced a significant challenge.
Okay.
What did you learn from that experience?
Well, there was this one time when I completely bombed a presentation at work.
Oh.
I was so nervous and unprepared, and it did not go well at all.
And what did you do after that?
Honestly, at first, I just wanted to crawl into a hole and forget it ever happened.
Yeah.
But eventually, I realized I needed to face it head on.
Good for you.
And so what did that process look like for you?
Yeah.
Well, I took some time to reflect on what went wrong. I asked for feedback from my colleagues, and I identified some areas where I could improve.
Uh-huh.
I also realized that I needed to practice more and be better prepared next time.
And that right there is a perfect example of reflection and adaptation in action. You took a setback, analyzed it, learned from it, and developed strategies to improve in the future.
That's true. And you know what? That experience actually helped me become a better presenter overall
Yeah.
because I learned from my mistakes and developed new skills.
Right.
I'm much more confident and prepared now.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of resilience. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about using our experiences, both positive and negative,
Right.
as opportunities to grow and become stronger.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like I have a much deeper understanding of what resilience really means and how I can cultivate it in my own life.
I'm so glad to hear that. And remember, resilience is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
It's about continually learning, adapting, and growing stronger with each experience.
Well said. Before we wrap up, I want to remind everyone that if you're enjoying this deep dive into resilience and you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, like, and share this with your friends. It really helps us reach more people who could benefit from these conversations.
And if you're listening on Instagram, Spotify, or TikTok, be sure to follow us for more content like this. We're always exploring ways to help you unlock your full potential.
Now here's a thought-provoking question to leave you with: what's one small step you can take this week to boost your resilience? It could be anything from starting a gratitude journal to reaching out to a friend for support or simply committing to getting an extra hour of sleep.
Remember, building resilience is a process, and even small steps can lead to significant changes over time.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us in this deep dive into resilience. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep growing.